This video will demonstrate our new beta finish wire shape. Once you downloaded and placed the new stencil into your stencils folder inside of SI5, it's going to display under the custom section of your stencil tree over here. And there's going to be a stencil over here called Wire and Cable, New Beta Finish Wire Double Component ID. Go ahead and expand the list, and here's the actual shape. You drag this over to a schematic page. I'll drag it right here, and then I'll zoom in once I choose a shape. Now, it's going to automatically filter to the category wire and cable and the phase of finish. But in this case, I happen to want to drop a rough-in wire on this particular page, but the finished shape, it definitely looks better than the squiggly ones when you're doing a schematic. So you can easily change your filters here. You can clear the entire filter or just go along the tabs along the top and then pick the wire that you're actually looking for. Go ahead and grab this wire, and I'm going to choose the actual area where this is going. And in this case, it's going in the conference room. Add to project, and since it's a rough-in wire, I'll be prompted for head end here. So we'll say it's going to AV rack 1 at 125 feet. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the wire shape that just dropped, and you'll see that unlike our standard shape, this one has a component ID at both ends. However, you don't have to have it on both ends if you don't like. You can always, when the shape is selected, right-click, and we added some right-click options here, so you can show it in the middle, or just the start, or just the end, or no label at all. But the reason this was created was due to the request to have the component ID on both ends of a wire, so it's a whole lot easier to read a schematic drawing when a wire is stretched across the page. There are a couple things to mention about this shape. Number one being that the component ID labels are not initially glued to the geometry of the shape, so if you start to move the wires, which you will undoubtedly do, these wire labels are going to detach themselves, or they kind of stay close to the shape, but they're not necessarily glued to the geometry. So easy fix for that is just select the component ID label here and drag it up to the shape, and when you get close, you'll see little red boxes appear to glue it to the geometry of the shape, and you can do that for both ends of this wire. Now, if you don't see the red boxes appear here, you may not have this setting turned on. Go to your Tools menu and go to Snap and Glue, and just make sure that under the Glue To section that you have Shape Geometry selected. Another thing to point out about these labels, once they're attached, is if you start to move your shape now, let's just see, I'm going to move it like this, you'll see that it'll slightly follow it, but it may become slightly detached here. Now's not a good time to move this wire label because it's going to remember this angle, and anywhere you try to attach it to and you select it, it's going to show this angle, as you can see where it's attached. The easiest way around that, of course, is just stretch it out temporarily, so when you do select the label, that you see it on the flat wire, so to speak. You can then take this and move it as needed to a different place on the geometry of the shape. And after that, it's just a simple matter of taking your ends and making your wire connections just like you would with our standard finish wire shape. Let me go ahead and pull this up to here, and there we've made a wire connection with the new beta finish wire shape.